Hey everybody, this is Vinay here. I've introduced myself to a few of the folks, but who have joined late. I am Vinay, and I have a little bit experience in sports analytics. And when I came here in fall 18, so I was really interested in the field of sports. That is why I attended a few conferences here and there. So I attended one of the conference which was in Texas only, which is called as Sports Analytics Conference of Texas. I was part of that. And then I went to talk to some of the Dallas Cowboys team members. I was doing some of the projects with them, and I've written a few articles about sports analytics. Basically, I use predictive modeling for that, and I was basically working under sport cricket. Uh, like Indians mostly might be aware of cricket, but it's like for other people, in like cricket is the most popular sport in India. So I was doing analytics on that. We predicted Chennai Super Kings win. It's a team in IPL. So yeah, a couple of things here and there, and finally the data science club came to me to talk about sports analytics club, sports analytics basically. Uh, just to give you an introduction about these things. And also one more thing, like we started one sports analytics club in fall 18, I think, but that club is not active. So yeah, we did a couple of things, not much. So this is a way to revamp that. So okay. So I just want to do you guys understand what is this picture depicting? So as you can see, this picture is actually of a cycle, and the aerodynamics things is going on. So does anybody know like what is going on here? How do we use analytics in this in cycling?
Airflow data points, maybe we use them
Yeah,
to get an idea of aerodynamics around the body when you're cycling.
yeah. So stuff like these, like we wanted to reduce the air which is blocking you for the speed. So that is why aerodynamics come to picture. And here only analytics takes space. Like we collected data points using these, and then we calculate, and then we see the best angle for cyclists to bike. So I just wanted to show you a video where we can see the cycling effect. So this is the video which was very popular on YouTube. So as you can see, like he's trying to minimize the air which he's taking in so that he can increase the speed. And he's like very good in achieving the speed here. So I just wanted to share this type of things. It's just not analytics, it's just a thing which I talked about. So he's even able to beat that scooty with this principle. So yeah. I hope he beats that. So yeah, he's able to beat that. So yeah. So this was the video. Okay, so yeah, this is how analytics is used. Like this was not analytics, but like people who are sports enthusiasts or who are like science people do these type of things to reduce the speed, like increase the speed of the cyclist and all those things. So I just wanted to ask, like, what do you think is the like in terms of revenue, in terms of viewership, which is the like the best sport or football, and the second one, yeah, soccer, football. Sorry, American football, NBA. Okay, so yeah, the first one, like I was also able to guess it correctly, but when it comes to second, I was also not able to guess it. I was surprised to see cricket as the second most popular in terms of viewership. Mostly it is played in Asia, Australia, and UK. And football, as we already know, like it's played across the world. So it has the most number of people seeing it. It has the most number of fans. It generates a lot of revenue. And cricket comes at the second spot. So like this thing I was not aware of. I just wanted to start with this, like what is the most popular sport? And this is the list of top 10. Somebody mentioned tennis. Tennis comes at fifth. And surprisingly, golf was also there, which is at 10th spot. I don't know who watches that, but yeah. So these type of things. And I wanted to also ask about like what is the major sports in America? Like we know it's worldwide soccer and all, but in America, what is the most popular sport? So first sport, baseball, basketball, NBA. NBA is a league, so okay. Okay, so some of it is correct, but the number one spot is taken by the American football, which is like a little bit different from the normal football which we have. So, if anybody can explain me the difference between American football and rugby, that would be great.
You don't have to go straight. You can go side to side when you're running the ball.
Yeah, and oh yeah,
You wear
there is no protection. Somebody said
you wear
so.
pads and
Yeah,
and
so
football.
yeah. Yeah, so like they are actually like a lot of similarities there, but it is a completely different sport, American football and rugby. And I also got confused in the starting, like American football and this football, normal football. So now to give you clarity, like American football is this rugby thing, which happens only in America. And then rugby is there, which is played currently. The current World Cup is going on for rugby. So I don't know if you guys follow it, but I think New Zealand team is the best in rugby, right? So yeah, New Zealand Australia. I think you should watch the match. It's like really nice match. So these things are there. So the popular sports in America is like American football, which is the rugby. And do you guys know which league is it? It is associated with? NFL, yeah, correct. And second one is the basketball. Do you know the league which is NBA? Correct. And baseball, I don't know. MLB, yeah, correct. Soccer, I don't know. Soccer and ice hockey, I also don't know. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So these type of things are there. What do you think like generates the majority of revenue in terms of leagues? Like leagues, I'm talking like does NFL generate? Does IPL generate? Which is the best one? NBA in the world, in the world. Premier League, English Premier League. Okay, English Premier League, NFL, and what other NBA? Somebody said no, right?
The tennis Grand Tour.
Okay, ATP. Okay. Actually, not. Like I was talking about these things. So NFL generates like 13 billion revenue, and mostly if you see like the top leagues, those are American leagues, and like NFL is mostly played in America, Canada, these type of countries. Mostly people play rugby in other countries like England, I think. So, and the second number is the baseball league. So that is the richest club. And somebody said English Premier League, that is at the third spot. So this is the shocking fact which I got, so which I wanted to share, case. And do you know like where does IPL stand here? Like Indian Premier League of Cricket, where does that stand here? Like any guesses? Like this is I think the top 25. So what is the rank for IPL? If anybody knows. So it comes at like 50th rank or something. So I was surprised. I thought that it generates a lot of revenue, but it comes at 50th spot. So there are other leagues who like generate a lot of revenue when compared to IPL and all. So for that, like you can check like Wikipedia revenue list. You can get all the 50 leagues who generates a lot of revenue. And I can see like La Liga, NHL, National Hockey League. These sports are also mentioned here. So it's interesting stuff to look by. Mostly top five countries, if you can see, is like the USA mostly, and then other countries come into picture. So yeah, this is one of the fact. I also wanted to talk about which teams do you like the most? Liverpool, Barca. Okay. So do you guys know what is the revenue generated by your favorite team, or which is the best team? Like in revenue wise, which is the best team?
Barca was, I guess, 170 million dollars.
Barca is like, are you saying that Barca is like the on the first spot of revenue generation?
I read some
Real Madrid, okay. Barca. Oh yeah. So I was also surprised. I was expecting some football club to be on the top, but I was surprised to see Dallas Cowboys there. So I don't know how they generated, but yeah, they generate a lot of revenue. Dallas Cowboys, and the second spot is taken by the Yankees, New York Yankees. Do you know like uh, what New York Yankees plays like baseball? Yeah, and Dallas Cowboys NFL football. Okay, so yeah, so I was surprised to see Real Madrid and Barcelona on third and fourth spot, but I was expecting them to be on the first or second, and Dallas Cowboys to be at 25th position or something. But surprisingly, they came out of the first position, Dallas Cowboy. I don't have a slide for the sports people who is the richest person, but if you guys can tell me like who do you think is like the richest sports player?
fighting one.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that was also surprising to me. I was expecting some other, but Floyd Mayweather was the richest person there. So okay, so coming back to what we are here for, basically sports analytics. So I just wanted to talk about like what do you think is like what is sports analytics basically? Can anybody?
So it is like
The performance of players using analytics.
Okay,
predicting the team wins number of runs.
okay, okay. So whatever you guys said is a part of sports analytics, predicting and what do you say? Improving performance. Yeah, this is like on-field analytics, and there are several other aspects to sports analytics which can be taken care of. Basically, the guy Ben Almer, who is like currently the director of ESPN, and he wrote a book on sports analytics. You guys should read it if you are interested in sports analytics. That's a really good book. He has described the definition of sports analytics as a thing which includes data management, analytical model, information system to help the decision maker make team or sports more efficient. That is how he has described sports analytics. And inside that, he talked about data management. So data management is basically collecting data from the players from the team. So suppose that one example which I can give you is like having a 3D depth camera to capture the bowling speed of the cricketers, or how much speed is for the tennis serve. These type of things is collected using 3D depth camera or something. So for that we need data management thing to collect those data, to clean those data, for storing those data. And currently like there is a lot of video data which is available and which is being analyzed. So there are a lot of variety of data coming every day, and with data science pivoting forward. So I think data management will take the major space, like it because the data is collected so large. So data science team can come on top of that and build some models on that. Secondly, the analytical models, which like predictive models, which helps the team to make decision. Suppose that they want to talk about like which is the best player we got. So building these predictive model will help us to get to know like which is the best player, which is the best team. How do you bet, like what to bet, what not to bet, these type of thing. And the thirdly, like information system, it's basically how do you present your ideas after you build the analytical model. So we should remember that the end user of this is the decision maker, basically the coaches or some management people who are there. So we need to present that data using the data management analytical model into some kind of app or some kind of website or some kind of Tableau dashboard. I don't know what else. So these type of thing like real time, if we can give it to the coaches, that will help them a lot. And that is why sports analytics come into picture. So it's basically for the decision maker like coaches, players, or the management of a sports institute or something. So this is what is the sports analytics thing. I wanted to cover dimensions of sports analytics, which are basically what area covers what is the area covered in sports analytics. So one of the thing is like fan engagement. So does anybody know like what do I mean by fan engagement in sports analytics? Okay, that's one of the example.
Can be about how much noise the ground is, how much noise the fans are making in the ground.
Yeah,
Restriction.
that's nice. I didn't think about it, but yeah, that is also correct.
Which matches to take on which day so that maximum revenue can be
Yeah, obviously, yeah, correct. So merchandise, yeah, that is also fan engagement, but it comes under revenue generation. So that is true. And other aspects are like player performance. So basically, suppose that Virat Kohli or Cristiano Ronaldo is playing. So we track the training of that individual. So say that like he ran 5 kilometers with this speed, with this agility. So we're collecting data points on that and telling those players how to improve their game or their efficiency and whatnot, like how to kick more in a speedway or something. So for cyclists, like the aerodynamics thing which you talk about, if we give each player that if we cycle in a particular position or something, you will get more speed. So something like that is the idea of player performance. And other things is like ticket sales. How do you increase the ticket sale for a particular sports? How do you generate revenue? Like one person said, uh, like how do you generate the revenue is by selling merchandises and all those things, like selling caps. How do you increase that? And if you want to go to like sports niche, like baseball analytics or cricket analytics or football analytics, there are several options to go through. So this is actually a wide field. As like I've seen, like there are books which I have seen like for just for baseball analytics, just for football analytics. So it's a wide field if you want to do something in sports analytics. So majorly, all the things are divided into on-field analytics. So basically, on-field analytics, as I've told you about, is like scouting and team selection. So suppose that you wanted to select players for a football team. So how do you select those players? Like what I suggest is like build a camera or collect some data point through the camera and then analyze those people who are coming to bowl or to like football kicks and all those things. And based on that, build a model or something and then try to predict that this guy can play for our team. Something like that is the idea of a scout and team selection. So currently, I've seen like a lot of team like build these model and a lot of team use analytics. I know about cricket that it's used extensively in cricket because like I've seen models for cricket models which uses like 300 or 400 factors just to see which player should play in our team. So currently, like coaches and all are like not really passionate about analytics, but yeah, it's going and it's going good. So analytics will take over sports, I think, in the next decade or something. The other thing is like player training. That's what I talk about, like tennis serves and all. If you want to improve the serve, like you can say to the players like your serve is improving every day using the data points you collected using a camera or using manual. I don't know how do you collect data, but yeah, these type of things you can say the player like how to increase your serve speed or like how do you kicks like motorsport. If you take motorsport, how do you curve the motor in a separate in a way that it increases the speed and all those things. So these includes like player training, and some other thing is for the coaches like the game strategy. So I've seen the movie called Moneyball. I don't know if like everybody should have watched it. I think yeah, so it's a very popular movie in that like there's a person who uses analytics for selecting his player. Earlier, the coaches used to select the players by some manual method or some like based on assumptions and other things. What this guy did in Moneyball was just use a simple regression model, which is like the basic in data science, and using that he was able to gain a lot of popularity by selecting a team. But if you read the story behind Moneyball, what analytics was used, it was just a simple linear regression which was used in that. So so that was pretty simple in that, and this is what like now linear regression has is there, but now a lot of new things have come in, like videos generation, 3D depth camera, wearable technologies. Like people can collect data by just wearing a band or something, and they can collect that data. So how do you any of you know about Power Bat? a company which is launched by Anil Kumble in India.
Yeah. As you it's in collaboration with Microsoft.
Yeah, so there's a company which was launched by Anil Kumble, who is like a cricket bowler in India, and he launched a company called as Power Bat, if I'm recollecting correctly. So what that company does, it like it created a chip which can be used on a bat, or like you can take an example of baseball if you don't understand cricket. So you can just stick that chip on that baseball bat or a cricket bat, and you can collect the like variety of data point using that chip. So like the bat speed, the bat angle, and whatnot, like other things. So there are companies who are working on these things and collect, like building new resources to collect data points, to analyze thing, and to push sports forward in terms of analytics. So and like 3D depth cameras have like it's like now it has reached a level that it can just by seeing a tennis ball serve, it can say what is the speed of that ball. So 3D depth cameras are the thing which are used for that. Basically, if anybody knows 3D depth camera, can explain it.
It's not a new thing. It has been going
Yeah.
on since the FIFA game launched. I mean, we
Yeah.
were the first ones who used this technology to analyze player moves and put them into the game actually.
Yeah.
So it's not a new thing, but it's been famous now.
Yeah, so 3D depth camera has been there for a long time, but the amount of sophistication now it has been, it is able to collect a lot of data point using the 3D depth camera, which was not that case in the previous thing. So 3D depth camera is basically, I think it uses light to create a picture among the player, like what is the distance about, like it calculates the depth of it, like the I can say an example of like the iPhone, which recently launched and introduced the 3 depth camera in the phone. So these type of things are there. So if we move on to the next topic, which is the fan engagement. So this picture is basically of the Chennai Super King teams, which is my favorite team in IPL. So yeah, so fan engagement is basically the digital engagement. How do you engage the fans to like sport or like a team? We can collect sentiments in social media. So basically, sentiment analysis. I think you guys have heard it because you guys are related to data science. So what it does, it like what is the general liking of a sports team or something? You can take it from scrape the data from Facebook or Twitter, and then try to correlate what is the liking of a team. Suppose that last season, like RCB didn't perform well, so last season RCB didn't perform well, so there were a lot of negative sentiments on the Twitter, and that is how we know like what is the overall sentiment of the people across the social media. We can also say the fan behavior in the stadium. Somebody suggested we can calculate the sound. I think you suggested calculate the sound of the people, and based on that, based on the decibel range, we can say okay, the overall engagement of the fans are more for this game. So these type of thing is there, and some other things is like parking information. All those things will be can be provided to the fans for just ease of the fans. So that creates a lot of fan engagement. Any other idea to create fan engagement except for selling merchandise or something? Which type of apps?
If you see the Fantasy Premier League, where they have their app to promote the game.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I think there are apps for every league. I've seen for IPL, I've seen for English Premier League or NFL. So I don't know, like, is there any other app which you're thinking about?
Man United has its own app where like during the game they'll ask questions to the fans like who do you think is like influence the player like who is
Okay.
influencing the match more like they give real time data like how many touches and all that stuff.
Yeah, that increases the type of fan engagement. Like if I'm a Manchester United fan, I can like question them, answer them, and then that increases my velocity for the game, right? So these type of things can come under fan engagement thing. Any other ideas about fan engagement?
One idea which is already there, where the online streaming, where we predict the next ball. I mean, what gets in cricket actually.
Okay.
Hotstar has this they'll ask you like what do you think is
What is the prediction of the it's a 4 or it's a 6, like these type of things. Yeah, these type of things come. And do you guys know about Twitch? Uh, yeah, Twitch is a streaming site for online gaming and all those things. So that has also created a little bit impact on the fan engagement, I think. So that can also be an example of fan engagement. So stuff like these can increase the like there can be like several others thing which can increase the fan engagement, but some of these are which I mentioned to you. Some of these are this. Moving on. So this is like this creates a lot of revenue for a few teams, and sports betting is actually illegal in a lot of states in America, legal in some of the countries, but it's actually allowed in some of the countries. So do you guys know any of the betting website which is there? Yeah, Bet365. Yeah, so that is the betting website which is there. Has anybody done betting on? Okay, so did you win or something? Okay. Yeah, so people do like sports betting, and that is like a 5 billion market in America, according to Nevada Gaming Control Board or something. So yeah, so there are a lot of things in sports betting. So people have created like a fantasy league or something for cricket or for football or something. So they pick their team for a thing and they earn reward points on that. That can also be considered as betting because you are just predicting the players which can play and they earn money on that. Some other things is in sports betting. I've seen sports bar also, like people go there just to bet. So that is also there. And it is like a huge industry and you earn a lot of money. Some people earn a lot of money. Usually the people who are betting, I don't think so, earn it. Like the people who are managing those earn a lot of money. So sports analytics can also be used in sports betting. You can basically say suggest like build models to predict which are the players who plays well in a game, or you can predict like if the sports bet is about number of fours in a cricket match, then you can predict that. So stuff like these. Any other example which you can think about sports betting? Like how do you apply sports analytics in sports betting? Which team? Yeah, so that's the basic one. Like, yeah,
You could look at like players, like individual player statistics and forecasting.
yeah, you can provide the consumer individual player statistics so that they can see like, okay, the last 5 match average of this player is like this, so I don't need to bet on this. Stuff like these. And oh yeah, that's a hot subject right now. Like people use a lot of analytics for like moving players and they're in football leagues. Scouting, yeah. So that is a lot of things. Yeah.
So some of the NBA teams, what they do is to engage the fans a little bit more, they provide an insight into the player's lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
So what do they do on a game day?
Okay.
What is their typical habits? So some players maybe like to read a newspaper before getting into a game.
Okay.
Some people try their wear different socks. Basic
Yeah.
habits like these, and the fans become a real part of it. They know
Okay.
the players inside out.
Okay. But how is sports analytics related to this? Okay. But yeah, I know like we can provide data to the consumers basically to tell that this player reads a newspaper or the things which you suggested, like he has a family or he doesn't have children, those type of data points, so that player can make a judgment about whom to bet or whom to not. So these type of thing. One more example I can give is like horse racing or something. So a lot of people bet on horses, like who would win in a particular race. I forgot the name of that sport. If anybody knows, uh, the horse racing thing. No. Oh, so it's called something. I forgot about that.
Thoroughbred derby.
Yeah, I think Derby. Okay. So yeah, in Derby, like a lot of rich people go there just to bet on the horses which will win. And if we collect like the data points about the horses, like the previous wins and what is the physical condition of that horse and all those things, we can actually like using analytics, we can actually tell those people that this is the most likely situation of this horse winning. So we can actually make money, I think, by just predicting it and then just pitching it to the rich people who go there for horse betting and all those stuff. So stuff like these can be done using sports betting. So this is a part of sports analytics. That is why it has been included here. The last one is the revenue generation. So there are different method of using analytics to generate revenue for a team, for a franchise, or for a particular sports and all those things, for a particular players also. So one of this thing is ticket sales analytics. So stadiums uses ticket sales analytics to sell more tickets. Suppose that if it's not a popular match, then how do you sell those tickets to the people? Basically, it's basically intuition. Like you decrease the price to sell the tickets, but there are other things which can be told about in using the analytics space. So a lot of stadiums uses this to check like what should be my ticket price to engage, like to get more people into the game. So this is one part of the analytics. Secondly is the marketing and promotion. So this involves like a lot of things. So if a player want to promote himself, if suppose that I take an example of Cristiano Ronaldo or Virat Kohli, who's like suppose that he is not popular amongst the media, and if he wants to be more popular to get some ads or some movies or something, then you can basically work as a sports consultant or a sports brand awareness to that guy, and then just basically analyze the data. How do you increase that and those, and best based on that, just suggest insight to that player about how to increase the marketing of that individual. And similar is for the team. So suppose that some PSG is not popular among Americans, then you basically talk to them and then help them using data analytics to promote that team in America or someplace other where this is not popular. And selling merchandise, somebody said like selling merchandise for creating revenue. Yeah, so this is the major chunk of the revenue generation because a lot of popular teams generate their revenue from this by selling caps, by selling t-shirts, by bags and shoes and whatnot. Like I've seen like the jerseys of like Manchester United or like a BCCI Indian cricket team jersey, like costing like a lot when compared to a normal t-shirt or something. So yeah, that creates a lot of revenue because there are a lot of fans for each of the sports. If you see cricket, like there are 2.5 billion fan. If you see like football, it's like 3.5 billion fan. So people are going to buy that, and using analytics, you can basically increase the revenue generation for those teams or for those players and all those things. Sponsorship, basically sponsorship and sports channel analytics. So a lot of money is spent on sports channel analytics. So basically, the sports team or like the sports organization like BCCI or the National Football Federation or something, if they want like channel rights or something, they have to pay a lot of money to the channel. Suppose that Star Sports is there or Hotstar is there. So like Star Sports and these things pay a lot of money to the sports team to just telecast this on their channel, and that generates a lot of revenue. So you can do analytics for these sports channel or for these sports analytics teams as such to create like how do I generate revenue from by the coalition of these two things. So this is part of the revenue generation. Is there any other idea about how to generate more revenue in sports using analytics? Any other?
We can advertise the products based on the trade. Say, for example, in cricket, whoever player is going to stay long in the field, I can just advertise my product on his jersey, bats also.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. Like the thing which you're saying is like if you see the T-shirt of a player or something, you can see a lot of logo. That generates a lot of
Advertising.
advertising revenue. So yeah, we can use analytics in this. Like where do I place my logo or something? How many logos do I place to maximize my revenue, maximize my advertising scene thing? So I think this is a good example. I mentioned this. Okay, other things.
Same with the ground as well. You can have hoardings around your field.
Oh yeah, that is including banner advertising thing to create revenue. Which banner should be placed where? For suppose that if it is like cricket, so we should basically place our banners on the side. I think so we can tell tell the advertiser using analytics about that.
And something like when some particular event is happening associated with it. For example, when if it's a sixer, earlier it used to be DLF maximum. For
Okay.
example, the company used to get attached with a particular event that is happening in a sport. For example, in cricket, when a six is to be scored, they used to chant the name of a company.
Oh, okay. Yeah. These are very, very little intricacies about generating revenue. But yeah, any other idea like like the big picture if anybody can give me like for a
Timings of the match.
timings of the match.
Yeah, like in India we watch the match late at night. So basically in US it would be in the morning.
Okay.
Basically sometimes they adjust the time of the match such that all the US people can watch the match.
Okay, so that comes under channel analytics, right? So if you're working for a sports channel like Star Sports, then you can provide recommendation to those channels about what
Every
will.
team has a TV rights, right?
Okay.
So that would generate revenue for the team as well.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Any.
Selling your stadium to a sponsor like Emirates Stadium.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
Emirates.
Yeah. Naming the stadium, having logos, selling tickets, revenue. Anything else for revenue generation? You can think about? No.
Buying players from like a specific region so you can gain fans. So for instance, Chelsea went down.
Yeah, that's true.
So a lot of the Americans are now supporting Chelsea.
Yeah, so that is a good example of revenue generation for a team. So basically, what he said is like if a player is like if somebody is popular in America and people want the fan base of America to be seen in India, then we can pick a player from America and then put it in an Indian team so that all the viewership of Americans comes to this sports using that player. So that is a good example of revenue generation using sports analytics. Okay, but how do you use analytics in that? Like it's a insight, right? It's not a analytics thing. So okay, yeah. Moving on. Which yeah, basically suggesting which player to choose among like American players, which is the best one to choose, which will give me the highest viewership, what we can afford. Yeah, these type of things comes under sports analytics. You can do that. So yeah, these type of things in revenue generations. Okay, so just to give you an idea, there are a lot of conferences which takes place for sports analytics, and the most popular one is the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference, which happens like every year, and the tickets are very expensive. So if you get like free tickets or something, or like a minimized ticket, you can just go to this conference. It's really nice, and a lot of big people who just started a lot of startups or a lot of companies founders and CEO comes to this. So the director of ESPN, the Ben Almer, which I talked about, who wrote a book on sports analytics, also gave a presentation in MIT Sloan Analytics Conference, and like it's a really nice conference because they talk about like basketball simulation, which player should be defending which one, and how do he proceed, stuff like these, and it's really interesting. And the second thing, which I think which is the most popular because we are living in Texas, is the Texas Sports Analytics Conference in Dallas. This is going to happen in October, I think, in October 2019. So you guys should go there. I was part of Sports Analytics this conference last time 2018. Was anybody else part of that Sports Analytics conference? You were, right, Suraj? You were part of sports.
I was actually in the Indian edition. Actually,
Okay.
that was the World Sports Analytics Series.
Okay.
I
So
was back in Bombay.
okay. So can you share the experience? Like, what did you
Yeah, so
learn?
we were bifurcating it into three divisions, as you said.
Okay.
So first was exclusively to the athlete performance. For example, you attach the devices to the athletes and you make them doing the trial runs or doing the training and then assess the performance and then give the necessary medications or other aspects in what way the athlete's performance can be. So one was on the performance analysis, that was a complete track.
Okay.
And the other track was into the consumer part, as
Okay.
in the fan engagement and what else you do with the revenue and
Yeah.
how do you boost the revenue. And you had people coming from KPMG and
Yeah.
all those people. And then the third was into this exclusively into sports science.
Okay.
Speaking how much of impact sports science and nutrition will have on the athlete's performance, for example.
Okay.
So there are multiple sessions actually happening.
Okay. So yeah, so this was a gist about the sports tech conference which is there in Dallas this to 2019. Like I can show you a video
And you
actually.
also have a startup competition where people come up with
Yeah, yeah,
ideas
yeah,
and
I'm aware of that. Okay. So this was the last time sports analytics conference in Dallas. In not in Dallas, this is an Australian one, but yeah, major one is in. I just wanted to show this video.
Welcome to the 2018 Australian Sports Analytics Conference. Our aim is to advance the sports industry here in Australia and globally by driving innovation through people and advances in technology and processes.
To me, today's all about the intersection of data, digital, and technology, and the interplay of really sport, media, entertainment, health, and performance.
The era that we're in right now, everything is being disrupted all around us, and we all need to step in and step up. An area where the fusion of high tech and high touch is becoming seamless. An era where the interrelationship between man and machine continues to transform the way in which we work, the way in which we play, and the way in which we exist.
Thank you for being a part of it. Sports Analytics World Series for 2018.
Okay, so if anybody want to join, they can then they can check the Texas conference, which is coming on October 2019. It's a really nice conference. A lot of things to learn there about sports analytics if you want to join them. A lot of startups come there basically to pitch in their ideas. Some of the startups, which I recall, like last time, one guy was just like I was jumping on a device which they have kept, and using the jumping, they were able to get my strain on the knees and all those things. It was basically for the football players to judge if they are able to play in the next game based on their knee strength or something. That was basically the data collector for knee strength and all those things. Something like cool stuff come up in like the sports analytics conference. A lot of people display their prototype stages things, and a lot of people come there to give talk. And last time I met like a lot of people, like one guy who came from France. He was in motorsports, so he was from F1 racing, and he was talking about like how do we use analytics and using cameras about using for analytics in sports in motorsports. So a lot of things like I got to know a lot of people with that. So I'll really suggest to go there. And last time I got free tickets for that. So I guess this time also if you approach them, I think they can give you free tickets because we are students. So yeah, student card. Okay, so these are the conferences. If you are like really passionate about doing courses about sports, so I'll suggest the Columbia University one because there's a sports degree, sports management degree which is given by these universities, and there are other couple courses which are on. Some of them are online, like California University of Pennsylvania and all those things. So you can like go there to do sports courses, and if you want certification and all, you can do it from Columbia University. Columbia University actually provides a lot of master's degree. So I've mentioned the course here. Some of the courses in Columbia University. So this is like the foundation of. Okay, why is it not visible? Okay, so some of the courses are like foundation of sports management, sports accounting, finance, sports law and ethics, sports marketing, media, and all those things. So like if you want, you can like attend these courses. Actually, like being a student, like you can waive off a lot of fee with these Columbian University. So if you are like really passionate about doing something in sports, so you can check out these courses. Moving on, I want to talk about the blogs and websites. So anybody, apart from these, anybody knows like any other blog or website which you follow for sports analytics? Which one?
Called Opta, which gives all
Opta is a startup, right? It's acquired by Starts.
numbers.
Yeah, but
numbers associated with. They even have they keep track of all the numbers.
Oh yeah, I'm aware about Opta, but Opta is like a startup, so they provide these numbers to the players or the teams to help them, so they get revenue. But I'm talking about the like the blogs which people do it for free and all those things.
There's a blog called SB Nation. It provides for every team they have a different page for every blog. For
Okay.
every team they have every different blog, so they keep on posting their authors for the blog.
Okay,
Keep on
okay.
posting the articles in the blog. It's a useful insight and daily news about the teams.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, so yeah, that's true. I'm not aware of that, but yeah, Opta I was aware of. Like some of the blogs and website are like Action Network, which provides like player analysis, which player is performing how, and all those things. And Agile Sports Analytics also provide like professional advices to the teams to help them cover that. And they do a lot of quality stuff like Agile Sports Analytics if you follow. And there are some other groups like the Harvard College Sports Analysis that's like pretty famous. And the students there write like wonderful articles about sports. Like there are a lot of articles in this, and then there's a group called as CMU Sports Analytics, which is also a great sports analytics club. I think these are the two major clubs in United States: CMU one and the Harvard one, which is like the an MIT one also, which is doing like good stuff in sports. Our UTD club, sports club, is not doing anything. We just started. So yeah, like we can reach that level if we get like more people, but it's just a start. So these two are the clubs to follow, like Harvard Club and the CMU Club and the MIT Club if you want. And some of the blogs are mentioned here. If you want to follow them, you can follow them and read stuff about sports team and sports and what other things which are going on basically related to sports analytics. So these are the stuff. Yeah, so the major startup which I was talking about was Stats, which was the pioneer of sports analytics, which started in 1995, I think. It's like the biggest, and it covers like a lot of events in a lot of countries. It even acquired Prozone, which was a domain expert in sports performance analysis. So basically, it's provided insights about the player performance and whatnot. So this was acquired by Stats, and these two like Stats the major one. Then the second one is the Opta, which is based on London. It covers like 30 sports in 70 countries. So that is also a major startup which is coming on. The one I talked about, like Anil Kumble's startup, PowerBat, is also a startup, but that's not generating a revenue much. So yeah, those are there. Any other startups which you have heard about? Like which are the major ones? No.
There is one called Huddle.
Huddle, yeah. I know about Huddle, but it does like it's a sports startup, but it doesn't use much of sports analytics. So
They're more into video coverage.
yeah, so they are more into coverage and all those
Video
things.
analysis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Any other apart from Huddle?
There's a firm called Catapult.
Catapult, yeah, I've heard about that.
Even they do something similar to Opta. They have their own devices which track the performance characteristics of the athlete,
Okay.
and they derive insights out of that. Actually.
Yeah,
They're
Catapult,
athletics,
yeah.
actually, and
Catapult is a good example of the major startup which comes in. Catapult actually came in the Dallas conference, so they talked about their product. So yeah, there are a lot of other startup. If you can check the internet, you can check like a lot of startups in this area, and few of them are like in the budding stage, so they don't generate a lot of revenue. I heard about a startup called as Tennybot. So what does is like while practicing serve in tennis, there are a lot of balls which lay around on the tennis court. So what that does, it like automatically detect that ball on the court and then try to pick up that ball and place it in a cart or something, just to like make it more efficient. Like we don't have to pick the ball manually and pick it in a cart. So that is like Tennybot. They are at the budding stages, but they're not able to generate much revenue. But yeah, that's a startup. I'm also doing a project related to tennis thing. If anybody is interested, that is sponsored by like BALC, Business Analytic Leadership Council. So yeah, BALC is doing that, and then I think the idea behind that is like one fall 18 guy will be there, and other fall 19 guys will be there. So if you can interested, you can register it somewhere. I don't know. They are handling that. So yeah, I am using the same thing. I'm just building a prototype in that to detect the tennis ball on a court based on computer vision and imaging. So that's my idea behind that. That is there. Few of the stuff like journals to explore is like these. So Ben Almer actually created some of these journals, who is like the pioneer guy. So he created journal for sports statistics, sports qualitative analysis in sports, and a lot of other things. So these are the things you can go to, like, but I don't know if they are free. Like few of them are free, but not all of them are free. So you have to pay something to see these journals. So this is there. Okay, so this is the thing in sports. So a lot of title is associated if you want to join one sports startup or a sports team. Suppose that you want to join a Barcelona club for telling the players how they are performing. So you will be like sports analytics consultant. Suppose that you're joining a startup or something, then it will be data scientist, analyst, data engineer. So these type of roles are available for sports team or like sports startup. And what I have seen in Texas basically is like 60K or 70K per year for sports people. So it's less because it's at the budding stage, and analytics really not much help to these sports team, because mostly it's about the coaches and the players. So it doesn't help them much. That is why the pay is less. But I think it will grow and the pay can increase if we can produce results which are better for those team. So yeah, I think this is the end. I just wanted to. This is a 4 week program, as everybody is aware of. I don't think so. Is everybody aware this is a 4 week program? Okay. So yeah, so my expectation from this class is like just make a group of two, and then just try to like make a 3 slide presentation or a 5 slide presentation, which involves a case study. Like it should be your original idea. Suppose that I gave an example of collecting balls from tennis court. That is a type of case study. Suppose that I gave an example of like me jumping on a particular device that can take data of my knee thing. So that is a particular type of case study. So I just want like a 3 pager slide where you just pitch in your idea, like what is your idea for using sports analytics in sports. So if you can do that, that would be great. You can also there are several examples like predicting FC Barcelona win percentage and all those things. You can do that. And if you're not able to create like working prototype of application, I don't think so. Like the timing 1 month is sufficient for those things. But if you're able to do so, I'll be like really happy. But for the current class for 4 week, you just have to make a team of two and just make a case study of any real life application of sports. So that's my ideology. Is it fine? Like, or like you need a bigger group or something? Fine, right? Okay. So I also needed a volunteer because this is a big class. So I need a volunteer to just like person who can take 2 people name on a sheet or something, or create an Excel file so that I know like which are the groups which has been created and feedback and all those things. So if anybody can volunteer, I don't know, you? Okay. Okay. What's your name? Ishan? Okay, thank you so much. Because this was a huge class, I was not expecting this much. I was expecting like 10 to 15 people, so I thought like I'll do it myself, but because this is a huge class, I needed one person to. So can you make a list or an Excel sheet where everybody can put their group member, like 2 group member or something? And basically, if you can give me an idea about the project idea which you're thinking about, you can write in that Excel. So these things. Okay, cool. So yeah, the last thing, feedbacks and question if you have any.